You're trapped, and you don't even realize that you're trapped because you're enjoying being trapped. Isn't that something? Welcome all to the Thriving Artist Corner, where we talk about using the process of mastering your craft as a vehicle to your spiritual enlightenment and your material success. I'm your host, Deji Dio Oduwole. And if you like to read, you'll probably like the free email newsletter as well. It gets sent out every Friday. The link is in the description below. All right. So what do I mean by you're trapped and you're enjoying your trap? Well, before I explain what this trap is, let me explain to you about a phenomena I call the force. So the force is another word for, other people call it the resistance or the opposition, the matrix, the rat race. These are all synonyms. And so the force it's a phenomena that is constantly pulling your life into chaos and mediocrity. It's this force that won't allow you to sit still, or else if you sit still, your life gradually turns into chaos. Think of how if you don't get out and you don't move and you don't work out, you will get obese and you will get fat. Think about how if you don't work and you don't make money, you won't be able to feed yourself. You won't be able to eat. Think about how if you don't practice your craft, you can go 2 days without practicing your craft and you automatically start to feel yourself getting rusty. This is the force at work. The force immediately begins acting on anything that comes into existence, and it will act for eternity. So, from the moment you're born, the force is trying to pull you into that direction of chaos and mediocrity. And one of the ways that it does this is the school system. I mean, not all schools are made equally, but the school system as a whole, I think most of us can agree at this day and age that we got taught a lot of meaningless information and we got withheld a lot of important information. We weren't taught how to invest or how to lead. We weren't taught how to, some people went to college not even knowing how to do their own laundry, which is crazy. But we weren't taught about money. We weren't taught about entrepreneurship. We weren't taught about most things that are important when it comes up to thriving in this society. But we were taught about Christopher Columbus. Yeah. So that was the force at work. And when we make it out of the education system, we are gifted an emotionally tiring job that underpays us as well. Again, the force. So we went from one environment to a new environment, and that environment now we're getting paid, but we're not getting paid anywhere near enough to actually live a life that we want to live outside of the job. And then we don't like the job either, the force. Okay? So, but as we get older, we start to understand that, okay, we have to change something. We have to change our situation. So we have to change our behavior in order to create a life that we truly desire. And creating that life, or changing those habits rather, are easier than a lot of people like to believe, because think about it this way. When you touch a hot stove, the first time you touched a hot stove and you got burned, you probably never touched it again. Quick story, when I was younger, I didn't know what an iron did. I saw my mom, this is actually my earliest memory. I saw my mom ironing some clothes, and I was like, wow, gee whiz, that's cool. I want to see what that does to my hand. And I went and I tried to iron my hand, and the memory ends there because I'm sure that the pain was so excruciating I passed out or something. But I never tried to do that again. That's why I don't have two of them. I only have one. So changing our behavior is not that difficult when the stimulus hurts. Think about how hard it is to love again after you got cheated on, right? Or when you fell off a bike, there was a little fear of getting back on. So it's not that hard to change our behavior to create the life that we want when we are very aware of how painful it is. And the Force knows this, and that is why it created the entertainment trap. See, the entertainment trap is the trap that I was referring to in the beginning of this podcast episode. The entertainment trap keeps you coping with your current life rather than actually putting in the effort to change it. Again, the entertainment trap makes it so that your life actually kind of feels good, even though that you don't like it. Even though you don't like your job, you know that you're not making enough money, you know you don't have enough freedom, you know you're not good enough at the things that you want to be good at. But that this TV show that you're watching is just so good right now, so you don't actually need to put in the work to change it. That is the problem with the entertainment trap. It's one of the Force's deadliest tools because it keeps you just happy enough to not make progress towards that freedom. It occupies not just your time, doesn't just take your time away from you, it also takes your brain space and your focus. And I've had this conversation with a couple of people and or multiple people, and there's always arguments against my claims, right? And one of those arguments is that entertainment is a human need and it's okay to consume entertainment. But I agree with that. It is totally okay to consume entertainment. I mean, that's why it's made. If consumption wasn't okay, us, the producers, the creators, we'd have no job. So it's not that I believe that entertainment should be avoided at all costs. It's just that if you are a human with big desires, which if you're listening to this, you are, and you find yourself consuming entertainment more than you are producing the work to fulfill those desires, you are in the entertainment trap, and that is not a good place to be. At that point, entertainment is not good. It's not good anymore. It's actually harming you and taking away from your life. So I want you to do a little exercise. Really sit down, put a magnifying glass over your life, and really confirm what your consumption to production ratio is. Are you consuming more content, more TV shows, more anything? Are you consuming more than you are creating, more than you are producing the work that is dedicated to your goals, more than you are creating art, more than you are putting out podcast episodes or making music? That's something to pay attention to. And again, like I said, entertainment doesn't just consume your time. It also preys on your attention and your focus. So it doesn't just take the time that you are watching it right then and there. It also takes the time that you are thinking about it. It's not just taking the time that you're watching it in the moment. It's also taking the time that you are thinking about it when you're not watching it. So that's double the time that it's taking from your goals. I remember back when I used to be a competitive Smash player, and I was a competitive Smash player, and I still had these big goals, these big desires of mine to be a world-class musician or a world-class entrepreneur, athlete, all of that. And I noticed that even though I didn't play the game that much, when I would be walking down the street, instead of applying my mental energy towards, Dane, how can I elevate my business? How can I elevate my musical abilities? I was thinking about, man, how can I punish that one move that Donkey Kong always gets away with on my shield? That up B, it's so, you can't punish it. It's like you can't block it. It shield pokes, and you can't. And so I'm thinking about a video game while I'm not even playing it. And so that is the entertainment trap. That is what it does. It's attacking you from three different angles. It's attacking your time in the moment when you're actually doing the thing. It's attacking your time away from the thing when you're thinking about it. And then it's attacking you in a third way as well. You see, entertainment is designed to hook your attention for as long as humanly possible, and that fries your dopamine receptors in the process. This then causes you to seek better, more stimulating entertainment, more time wasted, but it also makes the things that you actually need to do more difficult, harder to do, and boring. Because of the fact that your dopamine receptors are fried from hyperstimulating entertainment, when it's time to create art or practice your instrument or write a newsletter or do something to elevate your business, that then becomes more difficult because it's not as stimulating as the entertainment. So again, entertainment is not just attacking the time that you use to consume it. It's attacking the time that you use to think about it, and it's attacking the focus on the task that you actually need to do. The force. Now, fear not, because if this sounds like your situation, your dopamine receptors are not fried permanently. You can restore them, and you can restore your baseline dopamine levels with something called the dopamine detox. And I'm not going to go on a huge tangent about what the dopamine detox is. Maybe I'll have a separate podcast for what my dopamine detox protocol was, but you can look it up on YouTube or something, or Google. It's essentially just cutting away all the hyperstimulating activities that you do, like consuming entertainment, essentially. Consuming entertainment, consuming drugs, pornography, masturbating, all of that, drinking. It's basically a purge from doing all of that stuff, and it resets your dopamine receptors. But that's not what this podcast is about. Maybe we'll talk about that later. But I did my first one in 2020. Yeah, I did my first one in 2020, and it completely changed my life and the way that I see things. So totally recommend. But you can use the dopamine detox to restore your dopamine receptors should you find yourself in a dopamine desert or whatever, to not enough dopamine to motivate you to do the task that you actually need to do to free yourself from the force. Now, another argument against mine when it comes up to this entertainment trap thought process is that entertainment can be inspiring and motivating, and therefore it can be productive. And I agree, it can. In fact, my drill is over there, but I actually have a drill from Gurren Lagann. I don't feel like getting up to go get it, but The drill from Gurren Lagann, because that anime, I watched that anime back in my college years, uh, during one of the darkest periods of my life. Literally everything was going wrong. The worst possible things were going wrong. And after watching that anime, it kind of restored my hope within my own life. And that is true for a lot of people when it comes up to different shows or different things, because art at the end of the day is created, most art, because there is a dark side to entertainment, but a lot of entertainment is created to inspire and to motivate and to have a message to teach. And so, yes, I attribute that extremely positive and pivotal pivot point. That's crazy alliteration right there. Positive and pivotal pivot point of my life to Gurren Lagann. I was headed in a bad direction mentally and physically, and I watched that anime and I had a positive pivot in my life because of the hope that it restored in me. However, I want you to think of yourself as the main character in your story, the main character in your anime. So you're Goku, you're Luffy, you're Gon, or whoever, Naruto, whoever. Now, in all of these shows, I want you to go back into your mental catalog and tally the amount of scenes, the amount of times that you catch this character sitting down and watching another character's hero story. Sitting down and watching someone else's hero story on a screen. That is my argument against the fact that entertainment can be motivating and inspiring. Yes, it can, but all things in moderation, and most people really don't know what moderation means. Most people, to most people, moderation just means whenever I feel like it. That's the truth. For most people, moderation literally just means whenever I feel like it. And so, again, how many times are these main characters sitting down and watching another person How many times do you see Goku sitting down eating chips, watching someone else trying to be the most powerful fighter in the universe? How many times do you see Luffy? I haven't even watched One Piece, but how many times do you see Luffy in the anime sitting down and watching someone else try to become king of the pirates? And that's exactly my point. Your story is your life, and your goals are like, they require the bulk of your attention. So you have to find that motivation that you are seeking elsewhere, that you are seeking from shows or video games or whatever. You have to find that motivation in the process of what you're doing. You have to find that motivation in the actions that you're taking to create your own life. You have to view your own life as the adventure, as the anime. And for more info on how to do that, check out episode 2, where we talked about the inspiration triangle and how to create inspiration and create motivation. So again, if you're an artist, an entrepreneur, a human with big desires, and you find yourself using most of your free time to entertain yourself with some other person's story, whether that be a fictional character or Donald Trump or Joe Biden, Joe Byron, you're in the entertainment trap. News is entertainment. If you find yourself consuming more than you are producing, and you call yourself a producer, an artist, an entrepreneur, you are in the entertainment trap. And that is the force working against your desires. So get out of it and live your own hero story. Now, if you enjoyed today's podcast episode, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and also comment below. Comment below your consumption production ratio, and we can play a little accountability game. Also, you can subscribe to the Thriving Artist newsletter. Again, a free newsletter on the same topics I talk about here that go out every Friday. I will see you all next week. Peace.